Hey everyone, Assalamu alaikum. Today I make a video about Bangladesh's worst leader, former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina Wazed. Sheikh Hasina was born on the 28th of September 1947 to the Bengali Muslim Sheikh family of Tungipara in East Pakistan. Her father was Bengali nationalist leader Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and her mother was Begum Fazilatunessa Mujib. Hasina grew up in Tungipara during her early childhood under the care of her mother and grandmother. When the family moved to Dhaka, they initially lived in the neighbourhood of Segun Bagicha. When Hasina's father became a government minister in 1954, the family lived on 3 Minto Road. In the 1950s, her father also worked in the Alpha Insurance Company, aside from his political activities. In the 1960s, the family moved into a home built by her father on Road 32 in Dhanmondi. In many interviews and speeches, Hasina talked about growing up while her father was held as a political prisoner by the Pakistani government. In one interview, she remarked that, for instance, after the United Front Ministry was elected in 1954 and we were living in No 3 Minto Road, one day my mother told us that father had been arrested the night before. Then we used to visit him in jail, and we always realized that he was put in jail so often because he loved the people. Hasina and her siblings had very little time to spend with their father because of his preoccupation with politics. Sheikh Hasina attended primary school in her village of Tungipara. When her family moved to Dhaka, she attended the Azimpa Girls' School and Begum Badrunessa Girls' College. She enrolled for a bachelor's degree at Eden College. She was elected as the vice president of the Students' Union in Eden College between 1966 and 1967. In 1967, Hasina married M.A. Wazed Mia, who was a Bengali nuclear scientist with a doctorate in physics from Durham. Hasina studied Bengali literature at Dhaka University, from where she graduated in 1973. Hasina lived in Rokeya Hall, which was founded in 1938 as the women's dormitory of Dhaka University, and later named after feminist Begum Rokeya. She was involved in the politics of the Students' League and was elected as the General Secretary of the Women's Unit in Rokeya Hall. Except for her husband, children and sister Sheikh Rehana, Hasina's entire family was murdered during the 15th of August 1975, Bangladeshi coup d'etat, which saw the assassination of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Hasina, Wazed and Rehana were visiting Europe at the time of the assassination. They took refuge in the house of the Bangladeshi ambassador to West Germany, before taking up an offer of political asylum from Prime Minister Indira Gandhi of India. The surviving members of the family lived in exile in New Delhi, India, for 6 years. Hasina was barred from entering Bangladesh by the military government of Ziaur Rahman. After she was elected president of the Awami League on the 16th of February 1981, Hasina returned home on the 17th of May 1981 and received a welcome from thousands of Awami League supporters. Movement Against Military Rule 1981-1991. While living in exile in India, Hasina was elected president of the Awami League, AL, in 1981.58. The AL has been described as a left-of-centre party. Under martial law, Hasina was in and out of detention throughout the 1980s. In 1984, she was put under house arrest in February and again in November. In March 1985, she was put under house arrest for another 3 months. Hasina and the AL participated in the 1986 Bangladeshi general election held under President Hussein Mohammad Ershad. She served as the leader of the parliamentary opposition in 1986-1987. She led an 8-party alliance as opposition against Ershad. Hasina's decision to take part in the election had been criticized by her opponents since the election was held under martial law and the other main opposition group boycotted the poll. However, her supporters maintained that she used the platform effectively to challenge Ershad's rule. Ershad dissolved the parliament in December 1987, when Hasina and her Awami League resigned in an attempt to call for a fresh general election to be held under a neutral government. During November and December in 1987, a mass uprising happened in Dhaka, and several people were killed, including Noor Hossain, an Awami League activist and supporter of Hasina. Her party, along with the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, BNP, under Khaleda Zia, continued to work to restore democratically elected government, which they achieved after a constitutional referendum returning the country to a parliamentary form of government. The subsequent parliamentary general election in 1991 was won by the BNP, leader of the opposition, 1991-1996. After several years of autocratic rule, widespread protests and strikes had paralysed the economy. Government officers refused to follow orders and resigned. Members of the Bangladesh Rifles laid down their weapons instead of firing on protesters, and curfew was openly violated. Hasina worked with Khaleda Zia in organising opposition to Ershad. A huge mass protest in December 1990 ousted Ershad from power when he resigned in favour of his vice president, Justice Shahabuddin Ahmed, the Chief Justice of the Bangladesh Supreme Court. The caretaker government, headed by Ahmed, administered a general election for the parliament. The BNP, led by Khaleda Zia, won a general majority, and Hasina's Awami League emerged as the largest opposition party. Of the 3 constituencies Hasina contested, she lost in 2 and won in 1. Accepting defeat, she offered her resignation as the party president but stayed on at the request of party leaders. Politics in Bangladesh took a decisive turn in 1994 after a by-election in Magura II, held after the death of the Member of Parliament for that constituency, a member of Hasina's party. The Awami League had expected to win back the seat, but the BNP candidate won through rigging and manipulation, according to the neutral observer who came to witness the election. Hasina led the Bangladesh Awami League in boycotting the parliament from 1994. The Awami League, AL, with other opposition parties, demanded that the next general elections be held under a neutral caretaker government, and that provision for caretaker governments to manage elections be incorporated in the constitution. The ruling BNP refused to act on these demands. Opposition parties launched an unprecedented campaign, calling strikes for weeks on end. The government accused them of destroying the economy, while the opposition countered that the BNP could resolve the issue by acceding to their demands. In late 1995, the members of Parliament of the AL and other parties resigned en masse. Parliament completed its 5-year term, and the February 1996 general election was held. The election was boycotted by all major parties except the ruling BNP, who won all the seats in the parliament as a result. Hasina described the election as a farce. The new parliament, composed almost entirely of BNP members, amended the constitution to create provisions for a caretaker government, CTG. The June 1996 general election was held under a neutral caretaker government headed by retired Chief Justice Muhammad Habibur Rahman. The AL won 146 seats, a plurality, but fell short of a simple majority. Khaleda Zia, leader of the BNP, who won 116 seats, denounced the results and alleged vote rigging. This was in contrast with the neutral observers, who said that the election was free and fair. Hasina served her first term as Prime Minister of Bangladesh from June 1996 to July 2001, in the 2001 general election. Despite winning 40% of the popular vote, slightly less than BNP's 41%, the AL won just 62 seats in Parliament as a result of the first past-the-post electoral system, while the four-party alliance, led by BNP, won 234 seats, giving them a two-thirds majority in Parliament. Hasina herself ran in 3 constituencies and was defeated in a constituency in Rangpur, which included her husband's hometown, but won in 2 other seats. Hasina and the AL rejected the results, claiming that the election was rigged with the assistance of the president and the caretaker government. The international community was largely satisfied with the elections, and the 4-party alliance went on to form a government. During her second term as leader of the opposition, political unrest and violence increased. MP Ahsanullah Master died after he was shot in May 2004. This was followed by a grenade attack on 24th August on an Awami League gathering in Dhaka, resulting in the death of 24 party supporters, including Ivy Rahman, party women's secretary. In October 2018, a special court gave verdicts in 2 cases filed over the incident. The court ruled that it was a well-orchestrated plan executed through abuse of state power, and all the accused, including BNP senior vice chairman Tariq Rahman in absentia and former top intelligence officials, were found guilty. The court prescribed various punishments. Shams Kibriya, Hasina's close advisor and former finance minister, was assassinated that year, 2004, in a grenade attack in Sylhet. In June 2005, ABM Mohiuddin Chowdhury, the incumbent AL mayor, won an important election in Chittagong, the second largest city in Bangladesh. This election was seen as a showdown between the opposition and the ruling party. The months preceding the planned 22nd of January 2007 elections were filled with political unrest and controversy. Following the end of Khaleda Zia's government in October 2006, there were protests and strikes during which 40 people were killed in the following month over uncertainty about who would head the caretaker government. The caretaker government had difficulty bringing all parties to the table. The AL and its allies protested and alleged that the caretaker government favoured the BNP. The interim period was marred with violence and strikes. Presidential advisor Mukhlesur Rahman Chowdhury negotiated with Hasina and Khaleda Zia and brought all the parties to the planned 22nd of January 2007 parliamentary elections. Later, the nomination of Ershad was cancelled by the returning officer of the Election Commission, as Ershad had been convicted on a corruption case. As a result, the Grand Alliance withdrew its candidates en masse on the last day possible. They demanded that a voters' roll be published. Later in the month, President Yajuddin Ahmed was compelled to declare a state of emergency. Consequently, Lieutenant General Moin Uddin Ahmed took control of the government. Political activity was prohibited. Fakhruddin Ahmed became the chief advisor with the support of the Bangladesh army. Sheikh Hasina arrested because of allegations of corruption murders, Khaleda Zia also arrested, then highly protest to free them, and pre-Surd then, Dr. Fakhruddin Ahmed released them and called the elections. On the 6th of November 2008, Hasina returned to Bangladesh to contest the 2008 general election scheduled for the 29th of December. She decided to participate in the parliamentary election under the banner of the Grand Alliance with the Jatiya Party, led by Hussein Mohammed Ershad as its main partner. Her Awami League and the Grand Alliance, a total of 14 parties, won the 2008 general election with a 2/3 majority, having won 230 out of 299 seats. Khaleda Zia, leader of the BNP-led coalition, 4-party alliance, rejected the results of the election by accusing the Chief Election Commissioner of stage managing the parliamentary election. Hasina was sworn into office as Prime Minister for a second term on the 6th of January 2009. Independent observers declared that the elections were held in a festive and peaceful atmosphere. But this was the start-up of her Awami fascism. I cleared Awami fascism in my previous videos. If anyone not see, go my channel and scroll down, then you get this video. After the non-cooperation movement and military order loosed. Fascist. Hasina resigned and escaped from Bangladesh. Hasina resigned on the 5th of August 2024, as large crowds of demonstrators surrounded the Prime Minister's residence. Her resignation was announced by General Waqar-uz-Zaman, the Chief of the Army Staff. Later that day, Hasina fled to India in a chaotic departure, first by car, then by helicopter, and finally by plane. She left with no resignation speech. After the revolution, army chief taken over the country. Then, the 8th of August, a interim government, revolutionary government, total 21 advisors and 1 chief advisor. Dr. Muhammad Yunus is the chief advisor of interim government now. He will reform the country's every sector. Honourable Chief Advisor will punish all criminals of Awami fascism. After reforms, he will call elections and elected officials give the country. Yunus, a unifying figure, has the difficult task of bridging these divides and restoring faith in the democratic process. The student protests highlighted not just the job quotas, but also deeper issues like sham elections and economic concerns. Moving forward, ensuring free and fair elections, tackling corruption, and fostering an environment where every citizen feels heard will be crucial. We are now independent. We will be punished, Hasina, Insha'Allah. But one thing is clear, the nation is at a crossroads, and the choices made today will shape its future. We will make a golden land our Bangladesh. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into global politics. Bye-bye.